Hey everybody, before we get into the video, just a heads up, a little low energy today, feeling kind of under the weather, but I just want to say massive thanks to you guys. We're approaching 10k subs very quickly, and with that in mind, I'm curious on what you guys would like for a 10k video. If you guys want to drop some comments down below about what you guys would like to see for a 10k video, I will do my best to accommodate what those suggestions are. And again, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and all that fun stuff, but let's get into it. If you guys didn't see the news earlier this morning, Dignitas officially announced that AztraL is no longer a part of the roster and that he will be going over to play with Oxygen Esports, formerly known as Reciprocity. They are kicking Fruity, and it is going to be him, Shazette, and Farah playing together, which provides us another all-French-speaking roster. On his stream earlier today, he also talked about what the reasoning was. Here's the clip.
First of all, I didn't get kicked. I left on my own. I said to Dignitas that I wanted to leave. Not even them saying, yo, we don't really want to stay with you. No, it's me. I didn't enjoy staying with the team anymore. I always wanted to play with really close friends since I saw Alpha going to Vitality and I heard how it was. I was like, dude, that's so cool. I want the same. Like, post scrims, I didn't want to scrim. So I was like, watching my calendar, I was like, oh, dude, I have to scrim. I can't wait to finish, you know.
AztraL then went on to talk about his excitement of playing with Farah and Shazette and a full French roster and kind of the excitement that comes with that and wanting to be close friends and everything else that he has. I don't want to kind of take up too much of it, but I highly recommend going back and checking out that VOD and kind of listening to it. I'll leave a timestamp to when he starts talking about it down in the description. Switching gears over to Fusion, if you guys aren't aware, starting today as well as tomorrow, there's going to be the closed qualifiers for the Fusion RL tournament put on by Johnny Boy in partnership with Civic. On screen, I have all 32 teams that have been accepted. The way that this happened is teams tweeted their roster at Johnny Boy, and then he retweeted it saying accepted with the handshake emoji to basically confirm that they are in. It was first come, first serve based upon his discretion, so 32 European teams and 32 North American teams. After that, he decided to do the seeding, and with that seeding comes a lot of difficulties. For those that have never been a tournament organizer, it's very difficult to seed teams based upon results and recency bias, and do you go for long-term or do you go short-term recency because it's about the teams that are playing the best right now. Like, there's a lot of complication with it, and that's also being coupled with the fact that there is a ton of roster changes that are going on. Because a lot of teams are trying out new players, there is no history or no results to show with that team, so it's very difficult to give them a proper seeding because you have to do it based upon speculation. So a lot of people have been talking about the seeding and having difficulties with it where certain teams are placed, but quite honestly, it's not easy to do. A lot of people have been wondering about the format and how everything plays out. To kind of break that down, qualifiers are different format-wise from the main event. If you guys haven't seen that video, I recommend going back and checking it. But for a quick TLDR, the main event is going to have separate queues and brackets for each game mode, while this one, the teams are playing a crew-style battle throughout one series. Game 1 is a 3v3, Game 2 is a 2v2, Game 1 is a 1v1, and then the team that is currently winning, if it is not a sweep, will end up getting to choose whether it's a 3v3, 2v2, or 1v1 again, and then the other team, if it goes to Game 5, will also get to do the same. Should make for some really exciting and weird matchups. A lot of people have also been wondering how they can tune in and watch this stuff. I know Johnny Boy will be covering it on his stream, but that is not it. If you guys did not see the graphic or the announcement for all the casters, myself as well as a bunch of others will be covering the qualifier matches on a first-come, first-served basis. Ideally, I know I'll be covering NRG later in the day, and I'll get to that in just a bit on the schedule, but ideally, the way it's going to work out is a lot of the European guys are going to be covering the EU matches, and a lot of the NA guys are going to be covering the NA matches. Based upon availability and what matches are kind of going and which ones Johnny's covering or whoever calls dibs is basically how it's going to play out. So the way to tune into that is literally by our streams and Johnny's stream. At any moment, you may see a bunch of different streams with a bunch of different matches, and that is probably the best way to do it. I can assume Liquipedia is going to have their hands full, and that's where I'm pulling a lot of this information from. I will have both links to these pages in the description, and it is the most simplistic way to follow along with the bracket, but it's going to probably have all the times, and a quick way to pay attention to it is if you click the little info button next to the matches on the bracket, it'll tell you the time, the date, and when it is supposed to start in your local time. With that said, Europe is supposed to start at 12 p.m. Eastern and go until 6, and then North America will start at 6 and go until midnight. It's going to be a long day of Rocket League. Because there is a ton of matches and there's only so many people, there is chances that certain matches will get missed, but I can tell you we will do our absolute best to make sure that we cover and catch all the high prolific matches. A lot of people in my stream have been asking me who I think is going to win. I think NA is pretty up in the air. I think there's a couple nods that you can give to certain players that have really strong 1v1 and 2v2 teams, because it is a combination of not just the 3v3 roster. I think teams like Rogue with First Killer and stuff have a really good opportunity. And for Europe, quite honestly, I think it's Vitality. I don't know many others that are going to take the pick. Fun thing is, though, is the rest of this week, I will be making sure to cover all the results and etc. on this channel for videos that we put out daily. So tomorrow, expect to have us results and a quick catch-up before we get in to the next half of the qualifiers. Again, plan for the schedule is to cover all the upper bracket in day 1, which will be today, and the lower bracket in the day after that. Make sure as well, if you guys want to stay up to date on that, make sure you hit subscribe and all that fun stuff on this channel, because I will make sure to do recap videos and all the kind of major points that you may have missed out on Friday, and then as well as Saturday or Sunday, to keep everybody involved with who is going to be moving forward into the last and main event. Again, I appreciate you guys taking the time and staying up to date on all the content that is Rocket League related. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, drop them down below and I will do my best to get back to you. Otherwise, stay tuned. There's going to be a whole lot of Rocket League coming up soon. Peace.